They're in the mountains of North Carolina and Virginia, right on the border.
Okay. So they're headed out west.
Yes.
Okay. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, so we headed south to get here today. It was a beautiful drive, lots of horse farms. How much has this area changed from when this building was first established?
Pretty significantly. When the ridge was discovered, it was called Cane Ridge because of the cane growing here, and it covered the ridge for 17 miles. There was also a lot of old growth hardwood here, which is why the meeting house is built of the blue ash. It was just covering the ridge. There were very few cleared areas. Most was fully forest. The small cleared areas, most farmers could only do so much at any given time.
Wow, it's very busy today.
Well, it's our annual Cane Ridge Day.
Yes, we had hoped to get here earlier to celebrate. I guess tell me a little bit about that. So you had a celebration today where I know there was a morning meeting and then also one this afternoon.
This is our annual event scheduled for the fourth Saturday of June, usually, to celebrate the last will and testament of the Springfield Presbytery, which was signed on June 28th. Today we had a speaker who had written a book on Raccoon John Smith, one of the early evangelists of the movement, from the Campbell side of things. He was named John Sparks, and he wrote the biography of him that was published in 2005. Then in the afternoon, he portrayed a man named Charles Chilton Moore, who was the grandson of Barton Stone, educated by Alexander Campbell in Bethany, and then became an atheist. And so he portrayed him today as if we had come upon him working in the field.
Oh, I would have loved to have been here for that.
It was different from most anything we've ever done. I know there were some people who were upset that we might be promoting atheism, but I don't think anyone came away feeling that same way. But it was a good day with well over 200 people attending.
Wow, so you had 200 people here. Where did they all park?
We park on the center green unless it's too wet.
Yeah.
We can get 75 cars just on the driveway if we need to.
Wow, amazing.
And there was one bus full, and 2 or 3 churches brought their vans.
I think we passed them on the way coming here. Well, with Cane Ridge back in the day, this is the original meeting house that we're standing in now.
Well, no, we're standing outside
Or,
the original
that's
meeting
right,
house.
we're not in it, we're next to it. You've built a larger enclosure to protect it. When was that new enclosure actually built?
Between 1954 and 57.
Okay, so it's a little over 50 years old. And what about the original meeting house? Do you remember what year or when that was?
It was built in 1791.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and we'll take a look inside.
Sure. We estimate around 95% is original. Things have been added and taken off over the years. The balcony was removed and brought back, but it is the same balcony.
Wow.
The floor and the pews are both from 1882. But by and large, the building itself is the original.
Wow. How many people does this space hold?
We can put 300 in here right now.
Okay. When you met today, did you meet here? Oh, great.
We usually do, unless we are having a larger crowd.
Yeah. Wonderful. Ah, and this is a familiar picture that I've seen.
We have
This
the
is
original in the
stone.
museum.
Oh, really? Let's see, there's some glare there.
And
So-
it doesn't have glass in the museum, so.
What can you tell me about this man?
Well, there again, how long do you have?
Barton Stone.
Barton Warren Stone was born in 1772 on New Year's Eve, on Christmas Eve. He was born in Port Tobacco, Maryland. when he was 3 and a half, his father died, and his mother eventually, when he was around 7, moved the family to Virginia, where he received the first of his education. Then he moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, in what was called the Guilford Academy, where a Presbyterian minister named David Caldwell was teaching school, and he graduated from there after 3 years. While there, he had a conversion experience and determined that he would be a Presbyterian minister. After appealing to the Presbytery for a place to stay and preach for the winter, they gave him Cane Ridge and Concord, and the congregations liked him enough that they would keep him on. So he was ordained here in this building in 1798.
Wow. See, this is all the stuff I'm already supposed to know. I've read about it and a couple of the books, but I don't have it memorized like you do. That's amazing. Wouldn't you have liked to have been here today to see the reenactment?
I was raised on a farm that was built out of timbers like this, and the houses and the barns had these, and it was all pegged.
Yeah, there was no metal used in this building.
There were no nails. It was all pegged wood that held all the structures up and stuff.
Yeah, I love that. It's beautiful.
This is what kind of mortar is that? Is that where they've redid it at times?
Yeah, today it's cement. But they would have had the typical chinking, the mud or clay.
I just found an old song in here, and it's called "Stand By Me." I wonder if that's where the other guy got the music. "Stand By Me." It was a pretty good song.
This was the first Christian church.
Okay.
And so after 1804, they were generally celebrating communion almost every Sunday. And so they needed the table.
Okay.
The elders, they say, there were 13 elders or so in most years.
Your grace is here with me. The richness of your beauty is all I see. The brightness of your glory has arrived. In your presence, God, I'm completely satisfied. For you I sing, I dance, rejoice in this divine romance. Lift my heart and my hands to show my love, to show my love. A deep, deep flood, an ocean flows from you. Of deep, deep love, yeah, it's filling up the room.
Because many of the Presbyterians did.
Well, what did they call themselves?
Here?
Yeah.
Christians.
Huh?
It was the first movement where they broke down denominational doctrine and wording, and they just decided to
First Christian church?
be
Well,
Christians.
At that point, they were just the Christians.
Yeah.
They called themselves the Christian churches, or some of them did use the term Church of Christ. They are very liberal by our standards. So there's always someone more liberal and more conservative than you are, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
The Church of Christ is generally considered conservative. They are the ones that do not use instruments in their worship.
Right. Yeah.
All three of the branches, however, are congregational. So each one makes their decisions in the local congregation. The Church of Christ just is a bit more congregational even than the other two.
Hmm.
Whereas the disciples, we have what we call our regional and general manifestations, or regional office and general office. They have no hierarchy and no authority. They are merely given power to help facilitate communication. And that's the primary difference with the government style. Whereas what we call the independent Christian churches, the middle group,
Mm-hmm.
they are more likely to be open to many things, but they are still much more conservative than the disciples are in most things. In that middle group, you're going to find some women in ministry,
Mm-hmm.
but you're more likely to find mostly men, especially in the higher positions.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with disciples, we have a female general minister.
What can you tell me about Alexander Campbell's involvement?
Well, I'm not a Campbell scholar specifically, but
He was here on occasions, right?
we know he was in Kentucky at least 15 times. We know he was here once. He possibly was here twice.
Okay.
And it is possible he was here more often, but that's all that we're pretty sure about. He came back in 1840, after 1847, I'm not sure exactly, because the monument for Barton Stone had been erected after his death, and he came back and saw the monument, so we know that one. And we think he came and preached another time, but we don't all have all these dates.
Your innocent blood has washed my guilty life in your presence, God. I'm completely satisfied. For you I sing, I dance, rejoice in this divine romance. Live my heart and my hands to show my love, to show my love.
Can you imagine what it would be like for those that had been at Cane Ridge and worshiping the Lord, shouting and dancing praises for hours upon hours on end, and then walking out feeling renewed and refreshed and going back to their families? What an amazing experience this would be, to be here during those times. Throughout our time at Cane Ridge, my dad kept commenting on how impressive the structure and design was of the Cane Ridge Meeting House. Here he's talking about the design of the window locking system. It's a great design and highly engineered.